Hello, my name is Karen Noel, and I am the proud owner of High Desert Equestrian, and today we are going over the cool down. So the worst thing I see a lot of people do is they kind of just put the horse away if they're like super sweaty or if they're like breathing hard after a workout. So typically my rule of thumb is if you're on a younger horse, I've noticed that they tend to take about 5 to 7 minutes, sometimes even 10 minutes to really get a good cool down. Horses like him who are a little bit older, I like to do 10 to 15-minute cool down. And that does not mean I'm just walking around, I'm on my phone, I'm just kind of like dilly-dallying. No, I like to have a good programmed cool down. And how I kind of go about that is I'm going to keep my rein kind of long. Like he still has a little bit of contact, but I like to overall think of if I'm at the gym and I just got done running or weightlifting or whatever you may do at the gym, you're not going to just like walk out of the gym. You can, but it's not going to be the most beneficial. So when I'm at the end, I like to make my horse stop. And if I was like him and I just got done with a big workout, I kind of want to stretch any sore muscles I may have. I don't bring him all the way to my knee because then he'll tend to bend like this. So I'll show you. You don't want him to bend his head like that. That's not getting a proper stretch. You want to think about like being a physical therapist and be like, no, bring your head up and just bend a little bit until you don't get your head crooked. Come here, good. Just like that. Then if he's feeling really good, I like to kind of think about turn on the forehand, but with that same stretch in the neck. Kind of slightly just put my leg on and think about my hips and my seat. So I think about like pushing on this rib cage right below me. I like to kind of sit and kind of just think I'm like swinging it over with my seat. So my hip is down. Good boy. And I'll show you this side. So I think if this is the rib I'm sitting on here, I'm just going to kind of push my heel down so I'm sitting in it and swing my hip over. Swing my hip over. This is a good way to kind of get them stretched, but also kind of see where they are listening to your seat aids. So after I do the neck stretches, I go into my leg yields. Leg yields are actually so good to help stretch the horse's body. So if I just think about, I'm just going to swing my hips, almost like I'm sashaying, like if I have my hips sway, I like to think about I'm also loosening up my hips. Can I loosen up my hips? Because a lot of us riders get tight in our hips. I'll turn around again. So I like to think about, again, facing the camera this way. If I could just step into my outside stirrup, my inside leg on, and I'm kind of just like swaying my hips. Can the horse listen to my hips swinging? Can I loosen up my hips? Good boy. So then so what this is doing is you're cooling the horse down because they're not having to trot, they're not cantering a ton, they're not doing any big exercises. Instead, they get to relax with a kind of a looser rein. And I just like to let them feel my hips. Can I just relax and really think about, I'm just stretching. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just the concept is enough to kind of think, can they listen to my seat aids? Are my hips tight? How does his body feel after this workout? And then test him out. Can I let the reins go and let him stretch? And I get this really nice forward walk. So that shows me that our workout was good and he's getting his breathing back down. He's in good shape. He's not still like breathing hard, but it also shows me that he can stretch and he wants to go forward and stretch. Good boy. Let's turn this way. Good boy. And I like to do a couple of figure eights. So I have a loose rein. Really think about your hips are moving with the rib cage. I'm just going to have my arms out here. I'm just like, I'm not touching your mouth. You did good. I just want to stretch you out. I want to get my hips loosened up. And I'm going to just swing around all these turns. I'm going to do this little figure eight. The technicalities don't have to be there. I'm not going to be like, do a perfect figure eight in the frame. I just want him to stretch. Can you listen to my seat aids with a loose rein? I'm letting you stretch. Good boy. So leg yields, figure eights. I would do a lot of the stretching, turn on the forehands. And then afterwards, just let him go around. I like to think about 2 laps around a whole arena. And I'm not gonna do it because my microphone might cut out, but I'm just gonna think about, oh, I can walk straight, my hips are loose, I can flow, my leg is long, my shoulders are back. I'm kind of working on getting my shoulders back myself a little more. So sometimes during the cool down, I tune into myself for a while, and I just kind of think about, oh, how is my body feeling? Did I not ride? I kind of like review the ride in my head in the cool down so that I can know what to work on next. And that's kind of how I go about my cool down. I'll switch directions, and let's say I do another 2 big laps around the arena, just laying stretch. My hips are loose, my leg is long, I can get my shoulders back. All of this is such a good way to cool down your horse because you're letting them catch their breath at the walk. You're letting them stretch, but you're also still kind of training in a way. You're still kind of being like, oh, do you just check out when you know we're done, or do you stay in tune with me? And it's a really good determined factor of how is my horse on my aids? How's his mindset after the ride that we just had? How does his body feel, especially if you introduce new movements? So the cool down is so important. I can't emphasize that enough. But like always, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if this cool down works for you, if you kind of add on to it, if you do something totally different, or if you want any more certain videos made. Let me know in the comments, and you guys have a great day.